Hi everybody. It is snowy outside, so I do not have work at the Boys and Girls Club today, so I wanted to share with you what I am going to be reading on this wintry day off. The first book that I am reading, this is also a library haul from books I picked up last week that I'm starting, and books that I picked up yesterday that I have started. The first book that I'm reading is called Joy to the Girls, which is a LGBTQ plus Christmas novella by Rachel Lippenscott and Alyssa Derrick. I have previously read two other books by Rachel Lippenscott called 5 Feet Apart and Pride and Prejudice in Pittsburgh. 5 Feet Apart got 3.5 stars, and Pride and Prejudice in Pittsburgh, which was recommended to me by A Book Olive, got 4.5 stars because it was basically a female romance of Pride and Prejudice. So this is a holiday novella that focuses on Alex and Molly, and so far I'm really liking the development of their relationship. I just started this last night, so I'm only on chapter 4. The next book is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This is by the same author as Station 11, which I read in January and gave 4.5 stars to. I don't know if this is considered a sequel to Station 11 or if it's meant to be a standalone novel, but let's... Edwin St. Andrew is 18 years old when he crosses the Atlantic by steamship, exiled from polite English society following an ill-conceived diatribe at a dinner party. He enters the forest, spellbound by the beauty of the Canadian wilderness, and suddenly hears the notes of a violin echoing in the airship terminal, an experience that shocks him to his core. 2 centuries later, a famous writer named Olive Lilywin is on a book tour. She's traveling all over Earth, but her home is the Second Moon's colony, a place of which white stone spear towers in artificial beauty. Within the text of Olive's best-selling pandemic novel lies a strange passage. A man plays his violin for spare change in the echoing corridor of an airship terminal as the trees of a forest rise around him. When Gregory Roberts, a hotel detective in the black-skied night city, is hired to investigate an anomaly in a North American wilderness, he uncovers a series of lives upended. The exiled son of an earl driven to madness, a writer trapped far from home as a pandemic ravages Earth, and a childhood friend from the night city who, like Gatsby himself, has glimpsed the chances to do something extraordinary that will disrupt the timeline of the universe. A virtuoso performance that is as human, as tender as it is intellectually playful. Sea of Tranquility is a novel of time travel and metaphysics that precisely captures the reality of our current moment. So obviously this book probably came out in 2020. Okay, 2022. So I'm not far into this. I am on page 31. The next book is a book that I got recommended to me by Olive at A Book Olive. This is one of her favorite books. It's called Rule of Civility by Amor Towles. This is the same guy who wrote A Gentleman in Moscow, which I have read a couple of times and wasn't a huge fan of, but so far I'm really enjoying this. On the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Content is just a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar with her boarding house roommates stretching $3 as far as it will go, where Tinker Gray, a handsome banker with royal blue eyes and a temperate smile, happens to sit at the neighboring table. The chance encounter and its startling consequences propel Katie on a year-long journey from a Wall Street secretarial pool towards the upper echelon of the New York society and executive suites of Condé Nast, rarefied environs where she will have little to rely upon other than bracing wit and her own brand of cool nerve. Wooded in turn by a shy principled multimillionaire and an irrepressible Upper East Side ne'er-do-well, befriended by a single-minded widow who is ahead of her time and challenged by an imperious mentor, Katie experiences firsthand the poise secured by wealth and station and the failed aspirations that reside just below the surface. Even as she waits for circumstances to bring Tinker back into her life, she begins to realize how our most promising choices inevitably lay the groundwork for our regrets. So far, I'm really enjoying this. As I was saying, this is my second book by Amor Towles after reading A Gentleman in Moscow, and I am currently on chapter 6, page 78. The next book is a sequel/prequel that seems to be getting mixed reviews by the people that I follow on Book Talk. This is We Love You, Bunny, which works as a prequel and a sequel to the novel Bunny because it gives us the backstory of the characters in Bunny, but at the same time, it shows them where they are after college. So, first of all, I did not like Bunny right away because I feel like it resembled the movie Heathers too much, but I recently reread it and actually ended up enjoying it a little bit more than I had thought I did. Currently, I am on I am on page 85, which is like the prologue to chapter 6, I guess. So far, I don't know what I'm going to give this book or if I'm even going to like it. So I am unsure of what to think. The next book that I got out of the library last week is The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune. I have previously read by T.J. Klune The House in the Cerulean Sea and its sequel Somewhere Beyond the Sea, and also the Wolfsong series, which I have read 2 books of. And I am also currently reading Under the Whispering Door, which I have in the other room. So I will read you what this is about. In the spring of 1995, Nate Cartwright has lost everything. His parents are dead, his only brother wants nothing to do with him, and he's been fired from his job as a journalist in Washington, D.C. With nothing left to lose, he returns to his family's summer cabin outside the small mountain town of Roseland, Oregon, to try to find some sense of direction. The cabin should be empty, it's not. Inside is a man named Alex, and with him is an extraordinary 10-year-old girl who calls herself Artemis Darth Vader. But Artemis isn't exactly as she appears. Soon it becomes clear that Nate must make a choice, let himself drown in the memories of his past, or fight for a future that he never thought possible. Because this girl is special, and for the descending upon them who wants more control than her, to control her. So this book is on my TBR about Wicked, and I think it was paired up with What Is This Feeling for a song, and I am currently on chapter 6, page 74. The last book I picked up at the library yesterday is called The Spectacular by Fiona Davis. This book was recommended to me by Rhonda, who is a new booktuber that I just started following. I will link the video that she talks about this book in the description below, so that way you can see what other recommendations that she has. This is a historical fiction novel that is centered around Radio City Rockettes in New York City, and it is on my bucket list to someday go to New York at Christmas time to go see the Rockettes, and also to see the Thanksgiving Day parade that Macy's does in person. I've seen it on TV several times, but one of these days I would like to see it in person. I just started this book last night, and I am currently on chapter 7, page 59. So Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys all have a safe, warm day from this snowstorm, and I will see you soon. Thank you for tuning in.